everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you're passionate about space, science, and the incredible power of human exploration, you've just landed in the right place. Today, we're kicking things off at one of the most iconic places in space history, the Kennedy Space Center, right here on Florida's Space Coast. And in front of me is something truly legendary, Space Shuttle Atlantis. This orbiter flew 33 missions, traveled over 126 million miles, and helped build the International Space Station. Now, it's on permanent display, reminding us of what's possible when science meets determination. Tucked inside the awe-inspiring display hall at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, Space Shuttle Atlantis stands as a symbol of one of NASA's most ambitious eras in space exploration. Suspended in midair with its payload bay doors open, Atlantis invites visitors into the heart of the shuttle program and the legacy it left behind. Space Shuttle Atlantis, also known as OV-104, was the fourth operational orbiter in NASA's fleet. Delivered in April 1985, it made its maiden voyage just a few months later on October 3, 1985, during mission STS-51J. Over the span of 26 years, Atlantis launched 33 times, orbited the Earth 4,848 times, and logged more than 126 million miles in space. Key missions and milestones. Atlantis played a crucial role in advancing space science and international cooperation, launching planetary probes like the Magellan spacecraft to Venus and the Galileo spacecraft to Jupiter. Participating in 7 missions to the Russian Mir space station, strengthening post-Cold War collaboration, completing 12 missions to help build and supply the International Space Station, ISS. Flying the final mission of the Space Shuttle program, STS-135, in July 2011, marking the end of an era in American spaceflight. In 2013, just 2 years after its final flight, Atlantis was unveiled in its new home at Kennedy Space Center's Shuttle Atlantis exhibit. Displayed with unmatched realism, tilted at a dramatic angle and still bearing the marks of re-entry, Atlantis is showcased as it looked in space. The exhibit features over 60 interactive displays, simulators, and multimedia experiences, allowing visitors to engage with the shuttle's engineering, missions, and the people behind them. Today, Atlantis serves as both a museum piece and a motivator for future generations. Its journey, from launch pad to orbit, and now to its final rest, is a testament to what humanity can achieve through innovation, courage, and collaboration. Stepping inside Atlantis' cockpit is like entering a time capsule, a frozen moment in the history of human spaceflight. The sheer density of controls is overwhelming, a visual representation of the complex tasks the crew performed to navigate, maneuver, and operate the shuttle. The walls are covered in a tapestry of instrumentation. Toggle switches control everything from environmental control to landing gear deployment. Analog gauges display critical data like fuel levels, hydraulic pressure, and engine performance. Cathode ray tube, CRT displays, bulky and boxy compared to modern flat screens, provided crucial information about the shuttle's trajectory, speed, and orientation. Despite the complexity, everything in the cockpit served a purpose. Each button, each switch, each light was a carefully considered element in a system designed for precision and redundancy. Astronauts spent countless hours in simulators, mastering the intricate dance of piloting the shuttle, anticipating every potential scenario, and knowing exactly which control to manipulate in any given situation. The cockpit wasn't just a control center, it was a living space, albeit a cramped one. Patches adorned the walls, representing the various missions flown by Atlantis. Velcro strips held personal items, photographs, mementos, even lucky charms, transforming the sterile environment into a temporary home for the crew. While the space shuttle program may have ended, the legacy of Atlantis lives on. Its cockpit, a tangible link to a remarkable period in space exploration, serves as a powerful reminder of human ingenuity, courage, and the unwavering desire to reach for the stars. Space Shuttle Tunnel Adapter Truss Assembly was a critical component of the NASA Space Shuttle program, which operated from 1981 to 2011. This assembly was an integral part of the orbiter's structure, connecting the crew cabin and the payload bay, and serving several essential functions during the shuttle's missions. The Tunnel Adapter Truss Assembly (TAA) was located at the forward end of the payload bay, connecting the crew module to the rest of the orbiter. The TAA consisted of two parts: the tunnel adapter, TA, which contained the airlock, and the forward truss structure. The TA was a cylindrical component that provided a tunnel for astronauts to move between the crew cabin and the payload bay, allowing them to access the various experiments, satellites, and other payloads carried in the bay. The Tunnel Adapter Truss Assembly played a vital role in the Space Shuttle's missions, particularly those involving spacewalks and the deployment or retrieval of satellites. Astronauts would enter the airlock in the tunnel adapter, don their extravehicular mobility units, EMUs or spacesuits, and then exit the spacecraft through an airlock hatch to perform spacewalks or work on payloads in the payload bay. In conclusion, the Space Shuttle Tunnel Adapter Truss Assembly was a crucial component of the NASA Space Shuttle program, providing a critical link between the crew cabin and the payload bay, and serving numerous essential functions during space missions. The Astrovan, a piece of space history now grounded at Kennedy Space Center. For decades, it was a silent player in some of humanity's most audacious endeavors, carrying astronauts to the launch pad for their journeys to the stars. Now, the iconic NASA Astrovan, a custom-built mobile lounge that transported generations of astronauts to the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center, has found a new home for itself, allowing visitors to connect with a tangible piece of space history. The Astrovan served as the official transport for astronauts on their final journey to the launch pad before boarding the Space Shuttle. With the retirement of the Space Shuttle program in 2011, the Astrovan was officially retired as well. While new methods of transport were implemented for subsequent missions, the Astrovan remained a powerful reminder of the era of the shuttle, a time of incredible innovation and groundbreaking achievements. Now, visitors to Kennedy Space Center in Florida can experience a part of that history firsthand. The Astrovan is now on display, allowing guests to get up close and personal with this iconic vehicle. It offers a unique opportunity to connect with the past, to imagine the emotions and preparations of the astronauts who once rode within its walls, and to reflect on the incredible legacy of the Space Shuttle program. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with my latest content.